All right, I am Dan the VP, and we're going to be checking out a demo this time around. We've had a lot of great retro gaming action these past couple of days, and so just pretend this is another retro game and it's not a new game coming out. Or don't, and maybe you'll find something new. But time is going to start right after we get control of our character here. So that's going to be in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is Bat Boy, the demo for the game, actually. The full game is set to release in March from X Plus Games. They've had a couple other platformers and other games that have come out. As far as I know, they're a Japanese game studio. And this is the first look we've got at it. And I just randomly found this game on Twitter because I love following pixel artists. And it's one of those games that if you were to just like randomly find it on Steam, you'd probably think it's 1 out of 100 and just, nothing special. But I'm really glad that we're getting more demos these days and I can put my hands on it because it is a lot of fun. It has a very well-tuned movement system. And the demo's got 3 bosses. We're going to see a couple of upgrades, get a little taste of what the overworld's going to look like. And I have to add, this is a baseball-themed game to go along with the baseball-themed charity marathon. But there's not a whole lot in terms of speed tech. You're going to see a little bit of damage boosting, and we do have directional damage boosting. And we're going to be able to make use of some generous hitboxes. You probably noticed me attacking by swinging my bat, and if I hit things in the air, almost everything in the game that has a hitbox you bounce off of. And so using the generous hitbox between the bat and enemies and obstacles, we're going to be able to avoid a lot of platforming or make platforming a little bit quicker. Another key mechanic of the game is being able to deflect things, which I've done a couple times, and I'll have to do right here to turn the switch on by holding up and deflecting this baseball. And that's going to become more of a theme as we get different power-ups and as we face different enemies. There's also a combo system where if you knock an enemy and start it rolling, it will do damage to other enemies and give us more money. So this is the first boss. I'm going to try to stay behind him so I don't get that pattern, but we can just kind of pogo on him right here. I'm a huge fan of both Shovel Knight and Zelda 2, so any game that gives me a pogo is an automatic +1. And if you didn't know that Shovel Knight was heavily inspired by Zelda 2, now you do. Hope that doesn't change your opinion on those games. But now we've got our first upgrade, and you'll kind of thematically get upgrades based on the bosses. As far as I can tell with the lore in this game, the first couple of bosses are actually like your friends that are possessed by something evil in baseball. Maybe it's like cricket or something. I don't know. I don't necessarily play my games for the lore. But so after each of these bosses, if you don't go back into the level, after each of these bosses, we're going to get power up based on what they had. So that boss gave us a charge attack that lets us then throw the bat, and the bat hovers. And this is the moment where the game hooked me, because it's a moderately paced platformer. You're not slow, you're not fast, but once you see the dimensions of platforming you get when you can throw the bat and then recall it to yourself and get a jump, it's kind of a double jump, but it takes a little bit more thought to use it. But you can also use it to kill enemies on its way to you and combo some different items. I don't die to this pig throwing shurikens. Alright, there's a checkpoint there. There's a couple of auto scrollers in this level, unfortunately. This one does not cap my vertical movement, and there's a bit of it we can do blind. I'm going to do as much as I can blind here, just to show off. Where am I? Nope, I was right there. I was where I needed to be. Okay. And the other important thing about this bat throw is the way it mostly works is if you do a full jump. If you throw and then do a full jump, you'll land on your bat. And so kind of max height jumps like that, I really don't have to worry about. That's a big skip right there. I really don't have to worry about whether or not I'm going to reach the bat because like I said, the movement is well tuned in the game and kind of takes into consideration, you know, it wouldn't really be intuitive if you could jump further than you could throw the bat or throw the bat further than you can jump. You can also just run as far as you want in this auto scroller, but unfortunately, the very end you need to be on screen to get the final obstacle. So we'll just make our way through here. There's already some shops in the demo where you can spend some of these gems that we're picking up. Nothing of importance to speed at the moment, but of course a small portion of the game, so there's no telling what we will eventually use all these gems for, or possibly nothing. You know, that's also always an option. You'll again see kind of the generous hitbox when you're pogoing off of stuff. It feels good. I like when games don't make like the mundane platforming the challenging parts. I need to not die here. All right, and here's the last bit. You've got to be able to jump off of something to get up there, and there's no way to get across that gap without that platform. So we are on to the next boss, which you can technically do level 2 or 3 in either order. But this is the way that this boss's power-up is way more useful in level 3 than level 3's is in level 2. But this dude's going to throw some fans, do his little samurai attack. All the bosses in the demo have 2 phases after the first boss. So literally not all the bosses. 2 of the 3 bosses have 2 phases. And we're getting a really good pattern there. And that boss is dead. It should be noted that I'm playing kind of the tutorial stages after each boss. There is a speedrun leaderboard for this demo, and the demo's changed a couple of times. You don't have to play these levels. I could quit out, get access to the overworld again. So it's also kind of a nice touch for thinking about the actual speedrun of the full game. Not having to replay all of the content. But now we have this dash ability, which also gives us a jump after we hit enemies. So now, I mean, we're two levels in. We've already got a charge attack that we can jump off of, and we've got a dash attack that gives us an extra jump. You can see where there's a lot of potential if I don't die to plants. There's also screen wrap in this section. Whenever I'm looking at indie games, especially like new games to speedrun, I'm always really impressed by games that just like naturally make me feel like I'm playing a different game. And that sounds really ambiguous, but there's so much taken from what I consider the best of like 2D action platformers, and it's really fun to see indie game devs kind of capturing that style in new games. And I can't say enough about graphically what the game looks like, musically what the soundtrack sounds like. It's really the dev has really landed in a good spot with this. We're gonna have some of these wins I've got to pay attention to so I don't fall in a pit. Unfortunately, we may take our time here a little bit. I've got 3 charges of this. Oh, we're going to wait here. I've got 3 charges of what lets me dash. The 3 X's that are now not filled, and they're about to be filled when I get a checkpoint, that are green down there in the middle left of the screen, tell me how many dashes I have. And once we get another power-up, that'll be our usage of those power-ups as well. So it's kind of a combined resource that you refill either by picking up some items throughout the level, or every time you hit a checkpoint. And the checkpoints are pretty reasonable. But this is the last level in the demo, and so we're going to have this boss, and then we'll do the tutorial stage for this boss's power-up. And I got here with health, so I could do a little bit of damage boosting here. Alright. I will say the one thing that this game really nails in its kind of retro theming is the ladders are terrible. You can't... the D-pad has to be completely neutral to jump off of ladders, and it's so easy to not be like fully neutral on the D-pad when you try to press jump. It is very, I won't say annoying, it's not my favorite part of the game. But we're coming up on the boss for this stage, and this boss gets a little tricky, a little more random in her patterns. And let's see if you can guess what her power-up is going to give us. Alright, we got some good power-ups there. I saved all of my dashes. The dashes do double damage. So I will miss 2 of them, so we don't get to take advantage of those at all. That's a good attack. There's also, you can kind of park your bat on her. The bosses have some iframes, so it's not just, like a blender. But it'll be interesting to see what the boss strats kind of shake out in the game with all the abilities we get. So this boss gives us this grappling hook, and it uses the same resource, and you can see the little red dot lining up whenever I'm in range of something, and that's a pretty big skip right there, and I'm out of juice. We got one more section, and we're going to come to the end of this run, so time's going to be coming up soon. 3, 2, 1, time. So that's a nice little quick look at Bat Boy, which I would recommend you wishlist this on Steam if it looked fun. The demo is still out there. If nothing else, it helps support indie game devs. And don't just take my word for it. Go have a good time. There's a speedrun leaderboard up. You could probably beat my time on that leaderboard. And who knows, it might be one of you in chat running this game in full. So I appreciate everybody out there that's been chatting and donating, and Dave and Kat for running all of this and putting it together. We've already crushed a couple of goals, so I appreciate always being able to take a part in any of these charity marathons. And that's all I've got for you. Enjoy the rest of the marathon.